You ever watch these fix and flip shows on TV? They're on every channel, especially on the weekends. They'll run marathons of them, whether it's HGTV or some of the cable station. And these people just buy these houses, come in all cash, fix them, flip them, make money, and it just looks easy. And you want to do it yourself, and you say to yourself, how do I get started? I have no money. Well, that's where I come in. My name is Dennis. A lot of people call me the godfather of hard money. That's how I'm known. And I'm in effect, I'm the money for a lot of fix and flip lenders across the country. Uh, just so you know, these people that come in and they say they have all cash on these shows, or you see them on YouTube, I can assure you the majority of them get financing from a company like mine. How do I know? I've lent them the money. Without disclosure, I've lent the money to people who do flipping through some of the biggest YouTube channels, some of the TV shows also. I have provided the funds for these investors to buy houses and fix them and sell them. And they got started just like you. They had no experience. They've never done it before. And they've always wondered, how did they get started? Well, I'm here to answer those questions and hopefully be able to maybe get you to get started and fulfill your dreams, because I know how frustrating it can be. I've been in this business since 1985, and in 1985 I wanted to get involved in real estate. Back then it wasn't so much flipping houses, it was buying houses with no money down. And they used to have these courses. They would advertise them on nighttime TV at like 2 in the morning. Buy this course. It was like a half-hour infomercial. Buy this course and you will learn how to buy a house with no money down. Oh my God, how much easier can it be? Okay, you don't need money. I don't have money, so this will work. And I spent what little money I had on all these courses, and they might have been good people, but the courses left me empty, and I really didn't learn much of anything that I could put into practice. It was very frustrating. There was no one there to help me. So I know the feeling, and nothing's more frustrating than getting involved in something. You want to accomplish your dreams and your goals, and you want to, you really have a desire to do this. You really have a passion for it, and you just don't know where to get started. So I'm going to talk to you today about financing for properties that you could buy, fix, and sell, or buy, fix, and hold. Big market out there for that right now. So as a lender, when somebody comes to me with a property that they want to buy, we look at the property or the transaction. We look at the deal several ways. We look at the actual property itself. We look at your level of experience, and we'll look at your credit worthiness. Those are the three main factors that we're going to look at least initially. Now, the first thing we do is we look at the property, and we determine valuation on the property, and we use appraisals to go out and do appraisals on the property. But the way the appraiser goes out, they do it a little bit differently than normal. The appraiser will look at the property in what we call the as-is value. As that property sits right now, it could be a disaster. It could be a shell, nothing there. It's gutted, okay? We want to know, what's that house worth right now, okay? Because that's how we're going to determine how much money we're going to lend you to purchase the property. So we call that the as-is value. What's that house worth as is? As it sits there, what is it worth? And then what the appraiser does is they look at a budget that you would provide to us of what you intend to do to that property. And they say, well, based on this budget that we have here from the borrower, the prospective borrower, if they do this, how much is this house worth? And we call that the after repaired value. They will establish and give us an after repaired value. Now, sometimes you're going to hear a term in the industry, it's called ARV. People are going to say to you, what's the ARV on that property? That stands for after repaired value. After it's fixed up, it's rehabbed, what will the house be worth? So we look at the value of the property, the project that you're bringing to us, in the as-is condition, the ARV, the after repaired value, and that's how we determine what will lend to you on the project, okay, because that's important. So we have 2 levels of valuation, as is and after repaired. And the next thing we're going to look at to determine how much money we would extend to you is your level of experience flipping houses, fixing them, keeping them, fixing them, selling them. Now, this is where it becomes tricky. I have people that come to me all the time and say, oh, I'm experienced fixing houses. And I'll say, okay, what do you do? I'm a licensed contractor. That's not the experience we're looking for. I'm a real estate broker. That's not the experience we're looking for. I'm a plumber. I ran a company that we built 30,000 homes and I was the project manager. That's not the experience we're looking for. The experience we're looking for is your experience as an investor, where you have physically put up the money, purchased a property, fixed it. It doesn't mean it has to be fixed by you personally, where you go out and change doors or anything, but you actually hired somebody to complete the project, fix the house, and you ultimately sold it, or you refinanced it and you kept it. Quite frankly, I really don't care if you know what a screwdriver is. If you don't know what a screwdriver is, okay, I really, really don't care. What I care about is, did you sign on the dotted line? Did you buy a property? Put up your money, put up your expertise in terms of your knowledge, or you had the guts to put your name on the line, okay? I don't want to use that other word of what you put on the line, your rear end on the line, okay? And you fixed the house and you sold it, or you fixed it and you kept it. That's experience. Now, a lot of people who we work with, that I've worked with, have no experience. A lot of lenders will not lend to people with no experience. We do, okay? Because you have no experience, we will ask you to put a higher percentage down on the property, and then we'll make up the difference in terms of what we'll lend you. Typically, if you have no experience, we'll look at the as-is value, and let's use an example. Let's say the as-is value is $100,000. We're going to use that as an example. We would ask for you, since you have no experience, to put down 25%, sometimes 20%. So let's say in this example, 25%. So you would have to come up with $25,000 to put down the property. We, as a lender, would finance the other 75%, or $75,000 in this case. We would give you the additional money so that you would be able to close. As you gain more experience, the amount of money that you would be required to put down on your projects would decrease, going from 75 to 80, 85, 90, and it could even go higher in certain instances, but we can get you up to 90, where you only required to put 10% down, okay? Now, what we also do is we will provide you the financing or the funds to fix the property, okay? That portion, remember we talked about the budget, you're going to give us what you feel you need to fix up the property, and that's how we determine the after repaired value. You're going to tell us what you need. That amount we will give you 100% of. So even though you're putting a graded down payment down, you're still going to be entitled to all the funds to fix up the property. Now, let's just speak to the funds to fix up the property, and we're going to get into it more and more as we go along in these videos. We don't just stroke you a check and say, here's the check, have fun, get back to us. No, the way it works is you will provide us a budget, all right? And as you do the work, you'll call for an inspection, and if we see the work is completed, whatever you put in the budget for that portion of work, we will reimburse you. So let's say in your budget you were going to put a new roof on, it was going to cost you $10,000. You're going to have to put the roof on, you're going to call for an inspection, we're going to have somebody go out and they're going to say, yes, the roof is on, in which case we'll wire you the $10,000. So you're going to have to do some initial funds to lay out, and then it's just a reimbursement. As you go along and you gain more experience, we can reverse it, where we'll give you the money up front to do the roof. However, we won't give you any additional monies until we go out and inspect and make sure the roof was completed. You did use that money we gave you to complete the roof, okay? So the rehab funds are very, very important. It's important for you to understand you're not getting a check at the closing for the entire amount. As you do the work, the money will be reimbursed to you. Okay, so that is important. So experience, keep in mind, we don't care if you have no experience. We're just going to ask you to put more money down, at least on the initial transactions. And as you go along, it'll be less that you can put down. Okay, so we have a lot of our clients who came to us never have done a deal, never. Some of them we've partnered with, to help them, to assist them, and they've brought us deals. We've done joint ventures, and we've helped them gain that level of experience doing these transactions. That's not something necessarily I look to do often. I'll do it on a case-by-case basis, but primarily we want to make you or help you or assist you to become do it yourself. We really want to see you do it on your own, and it really is important to us. We enjoy helping new people. I'm not saying anything bad against anybody else. There's a lot of lenders in my industry, in my space, that just will not deal with people with no experience, but we will. So that's very, very important. The next thing we're going to look at is your personal credit. We will run a credit report. Now, typically, we'd like to see a credit score above 700. Okay, that's where it kind of we want you to be. Now, that doesn't mean we can't take a credit score that's lower. The issue becomes then your rate that we charge is going to be more. You may pay some more points, more fees, and we may not extend you 75% of the purchase price or 80% of the purchase price. We may diminish it because your credit is impacting the amount of leverage we can give you on a project. Okay, now, we've had a lot of people come to us with credit issues. We have partnered with, I've been doing this since 1985, what I feel is the best credit agency, credit restoration agency that I've ever worked with. They have over 500 reviews on Google, actually over 600, all 5-star. They're absolutely amazing. So it's important you have good credit. There's another reason why it's important for you to have good credit if you want to get into this space. And don't get nervous, because a lot of my fix and flip clients, even the experienced ones, have terrible credit, and we've helped them. So don't get nervous about it, okay? There's another good reason why you need good credit. As you go along, remember we talked about those costs initially that you have to do work on the house. You have to put new doors, new windows, whatever the case might be. It's going to impact your cash flow, okay, the cash on hand. If you have good credit, you could get business credit cards, okay, under your corporation. And you could use those to fund your materials, some of your work, and it won't impact your credit score because they're under your business name. The only time it would impact your credit score is if you default and don't pay the credit card bill. Then it will impact your credit score. So having good credit is important in this if you want to get involved in this space. But please, just like you may get nervous about how to get started, how to get financing, don't get nervous about this. We can help you. We can point you to somebody to help you, get your credit established or get it fixed. Believe me, we've got stories about some of the worst cases in the world out there. Trust me, you have no idea. I don't care what you're thinking your credit is. Trust me, I've seen worse, and we've gotten it straightened out. So credit is important. We will look at that, okay? That's kind of the I don't want to say the downside, but that's something you would need. I'll tell you what you don't need, okay? A lot of people get nervous and they say, oh, I'm going to have to show income. We do not require income documentation, okay? I don't ask for tax returns, W-2s, 1099s, uninterested, don't care. Quite honestly, for the most part, I don't even care if you have a job, okay? That's not what we're looking for, okay? We're not going to ask for tax returns, pay stubs, anything like that. Don't care, all right? These loans are not done under your personal name. They are done under a corporation. You will need a corporation to enter into contract and buy your property. So all of a sudden now people start getting nervous. Oh my God, I don't have a corporation. I have to build up corporate credit. Nope, that's not the case. You can form a new corporation today, 5 minutes after this video. I really don't care. Okay? It could be brand new. As a matter of fact, a lot of my clients will form individual corporations for each house. And what they'll do is, believe it or not, let's assume they're buying a house at 123 Apple Street. Okay? They will actually form the Apple 123 Corp for that specific house. That's what they do. And they form individual corporations for each house. I'm not suggesting that, okay? I like to do it for a variety of reasons, but you don't have to. You can have one corporation and have all your properties underneath it. You could form individual ones. I form individual corporations for other reasons. One of those reasons is I learned a long time ago, if I formed, using that example, the Apple 123 Corp for that house at 123 Apple Street, and somebody comes along and says, hey, Dennis, you bought that property, or you're in contract, or you have a deal on that property at 123 Apple Street? And I'll say yes. Hey, I'll give you $100,000 right now for that deal. Okay? I can, in effect, because it's a new corporation, I could sell them the corporation for $100,000. That's called wholesaling. Okay, and we're going to get into that and a bunch of other stuff. We're going to educate you here as best we can. And I would just wholesale that transaction to somebody else, take my $100,000, and down the road I go. So that's why I like doing individual corporations. There's other reasons. God forbid something happens on one property, from some standpoint, something terrible happens on one property, it won't affect my other assets. Again, I'm not giving financial advice or legal advice. Speak to your attorney, speak to your accountant, but I like to form individual corporations. But for your purposes, go form a new corporation. You can form them online. They're relatively, wherever you're located. We don't require you to have a seasoned corporation with a Dun and Bradstreet number, paid at, whatever it is. We don't require that. Brand new corporations, totally okay. So keep that in mind. We don't ask for income. Brand new corporation, relatively easy. We have a lot of our clients who come to us who are looking to get in the space and are new. And again, I'm sensitive to it because I've been through it, and nobody was there to help me. So this is important. It's part of giving back. Okay, a lot of people want to get into this space for a variety of reasons. A lot of them want to get rich. I get it. Okay, that's fine. You want to get rich. We still live in a capitalistic, society. You're entitled. You want all your dreams, goals, aspirations, and you feel this is something you want to get involved in. Come on board. Okay, we have a lot of people that do this to give back to their community. They want to do it to give back to their, wherever they worship, a church, religious organization, whatever the case might be. It's not about money. I will tell you this. I have a couple of pet peeves, and one of my big pet peeves, which I'll start yelling about, is when people start counting money on a deal, meaning they say, oh, I'm going to make $100,000 on this deal, and I say don't, because something always can happen along the way. When you start focusing just on the money aspect of it, at least this is my experience, you're going to run into problems. The universe is funny. Okay, the universe is going to test you and say it's not about money. Okay, don't focus only on the money aspect. I have to tell you, we have bought houses, fixed up, built ground up, and for celebrities, a lot of sports, a lot of athletes, professional athletes, and we've made a lot of money on those deals. I get as much satisfaction, if not more, on the smaller deals where I can provide almost a brand new house to somebody who can, it's their first house, I can drive down that street and the person will wave to me or have me come to the house. I've been invited to weddings, whatever the case might be, by all kinds of family events, because I sold them a house. I sold them their dream home. So it's not just about the money aspect. There's a lot of positive things within this space. So we like to give back. We like to help new people. Keep in mind also, for us, we close relatively quick. Okay, this process, I'm not saying anything good or bad against anybody else. I can only speak for my company and my team. We've closed loans in as little as 3 days. Okay, we move really quick. And the other thing is, we like to explain to you along the way what's going on. It's important to us. Why? I want you to be educated. We want you to be educated, because the more educated you are, the more deals you're going to get, the more likelihood you're going to come back to us. Okay, so that's important to us. And you know, I can't tell you how many dozens, it's probably over 100 or more people that we've taken from being no experience to experienced. And I tell the funny story. The only downside was my landscaper, hardworking gentleman, came to this country with nothing. And he said to me one day, "Mr. Aninos," he goes, "I want to get involved in what you do." So I said to him, I said, "Okay, no problem. I'll teach you." And I did. And after his 20th house, he decided he wanted to be a landscaper anymore. He sold his route. And the guy he sold his route to was a terrible landscaper. And it took me about 1.5 years to find a good landscaper for all my projects and all my properties. And to this day, it's, oh gosh, it's close to 25 years later. He's extremely successful. He runs a really big business, you know, and he's still got his properties. We laugh about it. I said, you know, I don't know if I should have gotten you into the business, because I've yet to find a landscaper as good as you. But that's like my only downside to the to taking somebody and, you know, taking them from being a beginner to a seasoned flipper. So I hope this video has helped you. Okay, I hope that you know, we're gonna have more of these. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll come back again. We really want to break it down. We're gonna go not only just into financing, which is our main strength. We'll talk about properties. I'll have people on here to help you with credit. I'll have people on here to help you find properties. There's a lot of good programs, software, things you can use to find some deals. But primarily, I'm the godfather of hard money. Okay, I lend. I'm the money. All right, and we're here to finance your projects, to help you along the way, and we're nationwide with the exception of a few states. Okay, we're based out of New York, in case you couldn't tell by my New York accent, because everybody says I got one. I'm like, I don't hear it. But yeah, we are based out of New York. And if you're in New York, or come on down. Okay, we're always here. We're always welcome people in. We got closings going on right now out front. We're always busy, but not too busy that we can't sit and talk, have a cup of coffee, go over some deals. It's a lot of fun we have. We have a lot of fun, and we've met a lot of good people. We got a lot of good friends out of it. And again, if you're going to get into this, happy to give you the financing, but I'm going to tell you, it's not just about the money. There's a lot of satisfaction, and there's a lot of things you could do. You can accomplish your hopes, you know, your dreams, your aspirations. You can help your family, your neighborhood, your friends, whatever the case might be. There's a lot of satisfaction that comes with it, not just, you know, not just financial. There's a lot of benefit for it. You know, seeing that final house and saying, "Wow, I did it." You know, people come in and say, "Wow, you did a great job," and you know, it's just great stuff. So, look forward to talking to you again. Look forward to seeing you again. And if you like this video, okay, you sure as heck are going to like this one. So click here and on to the next video. See you soon.